how has Shakespeare affected your life?
Well, I had to take Shakespeare a lot in school, and I guess maybe not really affected my life so much as my schooling.
Well, how do you think Shakespeare has been, combined into this culture we have now?
Well, I mean, you can look at a lot of movies and they have plot lines straight from Shakespeare. Like, for example, The Lion King is just Hamlet. So, yeah.
When was the last time you read something by Shakespeare?
It would have been in university when I had a Shakespeare teacher who was insane.
Put Simon out of his misery.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Noodles.
Okay. If I say the word Shakespeare, what first pops into your mind?
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? That's Romeo and Juliet.
Okay. So where'd you learn that from?
That I studied in grade 10.
How often do you hear Shakespearean quotes and that around?
Never unless in English class.
Never. So do you ever see like Shakespeare plays around in the community that you'd like to, would you go and see them?
There was a play like 2 weeks ago, and I could have gone to get out of a test, but I care about my education, so I didn't.
How do you think he influences you in your life?
If I ever write, which isn't that often.
How do you think Shakespeare has changed our world today?
I think he's changed the language of the world.
I think he's given us a new perspective on how to write.
How often do you see Shakespeare in the world, like in your community?
I'd say often, somewhat. Often. A lot of people kind of go back to it, and if you didn't know, there's a lot of movies based off of a lot of Shakespeare's plays, but they're like modern versions.
Okay, have you ever experienced a Shakespearean play?
No.
Okay. How can Shakespeare's compared to you as a genius at times? Why would you think that was?
He could create words and write good plays.
What do you think about his plays that made him extremely popular?
Well, they were pretty boring, but apparently those were popular back then, so...
Did you find anything interesting while reading the plays?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Do you have any comments that are negative about Shakespeare then?
He's really boring. Really boring.
Have you ever seen a Shakespearean play?
Is Fiddler on the Roof?
No.
Beautiful.
If so, what morals have you seen into it? That Shakespearean play?
Many.
I have experienced many.
Many?
Several. I wouldn't say many. I'd say several. I was a theater student. It was, I had to.
I see. What morals has Shakespeare taught you?
Don't kill yourself, because it just turns out badly in the end, i.e. Romeo and Juliet. That was a really bad move.
How does Shakespeare influence us today?
I think that Shakespeare has influenced pretty much all good literature from the time that it was written. I mean, the way that he wrote, the way he structured things, he was a pretty deep guy, and so...
If I say the word Shakespeare, what first pops into your mind?
Bard on the Beach. It is an activity we do as a family every summer, and we go see one of the plays that Shakespeare wrote down by the planetarium.
How do you think Shakespeare has influenced your family?
It's bringing out a bit more culture in us.
Has Shakespeare influenced you alone?
Made me like acting better, live acting.
Okay, Amy Rescue, how has Shakespeare influenced you?
Shakespeare influenced me because he basically created the whole English grammar and English words, new modern English.
Thank you, Amy. Also, how has Shakespeare influenced the community around you?
Well, basically, since there's so many films and movies and stories and all those things based on his storyline.
Thank you for your interview.